What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the Willpower podcast. Today is our season finale, and I am honored and so beyond excited to have my co-host today, Brice Anderson. Brice is a really good friend of mine. He's been by my side through this entire journey over the last 2 months. This is an opportunity for me to give my thanks to you, give you your flowers, because what we've accomplished in the last 2 months does not get done without your work and your effort. So I appreciate you, and again, I appreciate everybody for tuning into all the episodes and all the support I've had over the last 2 months. It's been great. So this is just kind of like a celebration of the podcast as a whole, doing season 1. And first of all, welcome to the show. Welcome on camera to be on the podcast.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
what a warm welcome to something that I've been behind the camera for and helping. And no, I'm just glad that, how far we've come with this. And no, I'm really excited to actually be on it. A little nervous because I'm used to being behind the camera, but I know the vision when we first started talking about this and to make it what we've got with previous guests and just the journey with everything around it. It's been pretty crazy. So no, I'm really excited to be here now and chat a little bit more about it.
Yes, sir. So usually with podcasts in the last episodes, what I've been doing is I've been interviewing guests and getting to know their journey and asking them about their process in life. But for today, I'm switching it up. So I'm not going to interview Brice. He's going to be my co-host, and we're going to actually answer some questions. So on my social media, on Instagram, I asked some of my supporters to provide me some questions to answer, and we're going to be going through that today and then see where the conversation takes us.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
So the first question is, how do you think the culture of basketball in Ottawa or Canada is moving / growing?
Okay. I'll speak on Ottawa first, and I'll speak from a place I'm not being biased about it, because I think I have my own perspective over the years since being involved in the community a lot with it. But I would say in some ways it's in a great place and it's growing tremendously, and I think in other ways it's getting worse year over year. I think in the way that it's getting worse, I'll be honest about it. I think in the last 5 years there's been 3 gym closures, indoor spaces where kids can go and play basketball and at a cheap rate or for free. First one being the Movati gym. They used to have basketball courts. They closed that down. They turned that into a CrossFit little area with turf and stuff like that.
Okay.
The Rito Sportsplex used to have a big dome that was basketball courts but multi-purpose gyms. Turned into tennis courts now. And then the YMCA, which is where I grew up. That was my space, and it was announced a couple years ago that the demolition's going to be happening.
Damn. And
sometime soon, and that's a lot of sanctuaries and places that kids can access basketball and enjoy the game that is now gone. And I think that's extremely unfortunate. And owned by a lot of basketball courts outdoors, I'm not seeing any kids play, right? And I think the big part of that has to do with the kids that are a part of teams, club teams, AAU, things like that. They're not really encouraged or wanting to go outside as much as when we grew up. I think that a lot to do with kids have aspirations to play professionally, and they think they need a trainer. They think they need to be indoors playing basketball and then playing against the highest level. Lower level kids or kids that aren't as talented that need that development, I think it costs a lot of money now to get involved in basketball, because you need to pay for the one-on-one training, and that doesn't come at a cheap rate in the city. So for me, I think it's not in a great place in that sense, because I think there's not enough offerings for youth that don't have the funds or come from a family or household that has the funds to be able to support them pursuing basketball, even recreationally, let alone in a way that it's they want to take it seriously and develop and train. And I think it's also the culture. I think a lot of kids are on their phones now and not as motivated as how when we grew up. And I think a lot of reasons is because you go on social media now, you watch a basketball game, you're exposing youth constantly to gambling. You're constantly throwing these different types of pressures and having kids compare themselves to others and things like that. So I think that's beyond just an Ottawa or Canada problem. I think it's a basketball problem as a whole. Now, the good, I'll say, is I think there's a lot of growth within U sports. So at the university level, I think that there's a lot of improvement in talent. So the really good players in Canada are getting better and better year over year. Spoke about it very briefly with Coach Kyle Julius on the podcast. I had mentioned the parity when it comes to winning the Canadian Player of the Year. I think year over year it's been more and more competitive, and that is telling to the talent in Canada as a whole. So I would say that is something I would say is positive for Canada basketball.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, I love everything you touched on.
100%. What's the next one? Let's hear it.
The next question is, any life hacks you can share for hoopers?
Wow. Okay. Life hacks I could share for hoopers. I love that question. I think the number one I would touch on would be understand that the most important way to recover from sports, but basketball especially, is sleep. I think that's something that gets, skipped over a lot with youth that I've worked with. They always have a crazy sleep schedule, whether it's not enough or the routine is all over the place. I would say consistent sleep schedule. The obvious, and I've always harped on this, is routine. Confidence comes from preparation and investing in yourself and being consistent with it. I would say that is a big life hack, would be the routine, and the sleep is a big part of that. I think when it comes to mentally, I think watching high quality basketball, whether it be NBA, EuroLeague, just exposing yourself to looking at quality basketball with, developed plays and ways that they're passing the ball around. There's movements, there's cutting. So watching a lot of film is a big one too. And then I would say from a mental standpoint, like, mental health is huge. And I think a part with confidence, I see a lot of players find their identity in basketball and not look beyond that point. Telling themselves, like, I'm going to make the NBA, and then I don't make it, what then, right? And I think that happens to a lot of professional athletes I've even worked with, is they kind of get lost in that and thinking that's their whole value to the world, but not understanding that being an athlete, there's only so much time. That's only a chapter of your life. There's only so much time you're within that chapter. Whereas afterwards, your whole rest of your life is a lot longer than your athletic life. So I think that for youth, especially young hoopers, I would say understand that basketball, like, there's a lot of avenues you can make a career out of it. There's a lot more to you than just being a player. I think that it's key to understand that. And there's ways that basketball can help you outside of the game as well, from, networking standpoint, communication, leadership, physical skills, physical health. I think those are key factors. And then I guess the last thing I would say is seek mentorship, but in a way that you're open to it. I think a lot of youth I've seen, the ones I've worked with, I've done a good job kind of maneuvering the ego, whether it be professionals or younger athletes. I think that being open to mentorship in a way that you're able to take constructive criticism. Example, if I'm not working hard enough, I have to be open and willing to hear that, hey, I'm not giving this 100%, and I can be called out on it, and I have to be comfortable with that. And that takes your ego not being in the way, because I think a lot of kids can be quite reactive to constructive criticism or anything negative being told to them about their game. And I think that another point would be, if you have the wrong mentor, if you're dealing with a coach or whoever it is in your life, a trainer even, that is not encouraging you and supporting you in ways that maybe they should be, where they're breaking down your confidence or you feel like you need them, the reality is you don't. And I think for me, I've had both sides. I've had great mentors. I've had mentors that, didn't do right by me always and kind of focus on themselves within me. And I think a lot of that has to do with basketball as well. Like, that can speak to a lot of youth. And I've dealt with it many times with kids I've worked with, that they had a coach, they had a trainer that really had an impact on them and their confidence, and I had to try and rebuild it for them. So for the youth that's going through that, listening to this, understand that you don't need anybody to achieve what you want to achieve, but while you're pursuing it, people can support you along the way. But don't rely on someone to think, okay, I need them to get to this point, right? When it comes to basketball specifically, and mentorship I could speak on, I would say a big part of it is you don't need someone to get to where you want to get to. Just focus on you, control what you can control, and if people choose to support you along the way, then take all the help you can get.
Well said.
Yeah, got you.
Because people around you make such a big difference. So it's the way that the information is given to you is definitely impactful.
Yes.
I can relate like a little bit on how I played and how I felt about the game, because you get discouraged, your ego's in the way, but the way the people around you kind of impact and try to build you up or teach you those little lessons, not just on basketball, but just how you present yourself. It makes a big difference.
Agreed.
But yeah, you can tell how people react, like in professional and some of the lower levels, or when kids are just growing up. You can see how they're presented or how coaches are responding.
Yeah, and I think to touch on what you're saying, like, a lot of trainers and coaches, sometimes they even try and push their own agenda and use you to do so, and sometimes you don't fit the program, right? It could be that the son of the coach is on the team and you don't get to start, even though you're a better player. You feel a certain way about it. You have no control over that, and you can't let that affect your confidence. So I think that's a big part as well. Sometimes you just can't control the situation you're in, whether it be on a specific team, with a specific trainer, whatever it may be. Just focus on what you can control, put the work in, focus on your mental health, understand that you're more than an athlete, you're more than just a basketball player, and just use basketball as a way to discover yourself, find your confidence, and it can take you so far. It's crazy how far this game can take you without even... I've never played professionally, I've never played at the collegiate level, but I've gone to a point where I'm able to say that I worked with professional players. I've worked with hundreds of youth around the city, and I'm continuously working and striving towards my goals to pursue a career in basketball. But again, I was never a professional myself, but I created an avenue for myself through all this hard work to try and create this life I want to live.
For sure. And you're doing well, and that's what piqued my interest when you reached out to me
100%.
Initially.
Yeah.
What you were doing with the youth and how you were impacting and how you were running it, like, came from your heart. And like, you can tell that not only did like they see that from you, but they put that into like coming every Friday night to play with the group. Something to look forward to, something like positive that they could do weekly.
For
and
sure.
just and have those little tips from you as well. I think that's what made me really enjoy being there and continuing to connect, and then obviously creating this as well. I knew that you were going to have some great messages to push out. So
I think even like we'll talk on youth night a little bit. Like the way I connected with you, I had this idea to create a youth program on Friday nights, and it was just a way to offer a free space to kids to play basketball, because again, like I mentioned earlier, it's very limited now within the city in Ottawa.
it is.
And for me to, promote that, create that, it was such a cool opportunity for the kids to be able to experience it every Friday night, coming to play for free, being around high-level coaching, mentorship, and to know they're being pushed, but also winning prizes at the end of the night, getting photographer to come in and videographers to come in and take videos. I think it created a lot of opportunities for myself through doing so, getting to meet with you, getting to meet some really cool people, and creating a lot of presentations for sponsorship opportunities and networking opportunities to speak on what I've built over the years. I think that was also a pretty cool experience for me looking back on it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was great. Should we just fire into the next
Let's
one?
do it. Let's do it. 100%.
Unless there's anything else
Keep
you
it
want
going.
to
No,
say.
good. That's good.
Okay, next question is...
1 second. I got a guest.
Boy.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Any fun or funny stories you can share about the youth you mentor?
Oh, wow. I love that question.
Yeah.
I won't call anybody out specifically. I think
No name
the
drop.
ones that do know, they know, and they're listening. Something I've done quite often, funny enough, is a lot of the young men I work with especially, they come to me and I ask them, what's your goal? Like, what's your ultimate goal? Let's be specific. What's your timeline? What's your goal? And they say, I want to make the NBA. I want to make Division 1. I want to play youth sports. And then we get through the workout, and they can't survive the hour. Survive is exaggerating. They can't get through it. They're not in well enough shape. They're not conditioned enough. They're not strong enough, which is fair. That's the whole purpose of the first workout for a lot of times with me, is to give them perspective and understanding that I'm going to give you the high-level workout that that level of a player would go through, and this is how far off you are from that goal. Mm-hmm. That gives them perspective. And a lot of the young men I've worked with, after the conversation afterwards of having them realize they're nowhere near their goal, they cry. And that has happened many times with a lot of young men that I've worked with. And the funny part for me is always how they bounce back from it, because we go 6 weeks in, they're in way better shape, they've gotten their head straight, right? And they're committed to their goals, they're committed to their routine. And we look back, and I always tease them. I'm like, remember when you cried the first time I trained you? Which is not a bad thing to cry. Let out your emotions. I always encourage that. But at the same time, it's just funny to give them a hard time to understand that, like, your goals and your heart was in the right place, but the way you're executing and working towards those goals are completely backwards, and you're just saying it because maybe your friends are enabling you to think that you can do it, or you don't know what you want to do, and it seems fun and cool to say you want to be an NBA player. So from a business perspective, for me, like, funny enough, I actually lose a lot of clients because of that, because I hold clients accountable, right? And if someone doesn't show commitment to what I provide, they breach the contract that we create, and then I'm simply not their trainer. But it's not personal, it's a business agreement.
Yeah.
The funny story for me is always when they commit to it and everything is good and we're a couple sessions in, I always look back on the crying, and it's is something I enjoy because it gives me so much pride and it gives me so much joy and fulfillment when I see them being built up and at a fast pace, because that first workout, it's intense and it's okay. This is where we're at. This is how we're moving forward. Commit to it or find a new trainer. And more times than not, they stick to it. And to see the growth that so many young men have made over the years that I've been able to work with, man, it's nothing beats that feeling. It's the best.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I can imagine just seeing when they're at that level and they continue to commit to a program that is challenging mentally to get into, but I love that you can see those results and have an impact and see them grow into different
good
people.
Good people.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like a lot of trainers come into this, they do their hour, they're done, right? They get the money, next client, move on. For me, it's a relationship I try to build with my clients, and I try to communicate with the parents as well and let them know and keep them up to date with everything. Example, like Samuel to our episode with Kyle Julius, right?
Yes.
Like I spoke with his mom and let her know everything we're planning for him, and she was super excited, and then he comes in and such a good personality and a good person for such a young man, and to see the value that not only he got from it, but even when we speak to him afterwards about it and how much he appreciated that experience.
You can tell.
Yeah, nothing can compare to that feeling that I get, that fulfillment to know that I'm gaining just as much as he is from this, to get to meet someone like Kyle Julius, but for a young man to experience that could change someone's life, right? That could get him on a whole new path in life to find so much success that maybe he would have had to figure out another way had he not had it in the first place, right? So it's nice for me to kind of look at myself as a vessel for a lot of youth, to give them perspectives and make them believe like this is possible, and this is coming from someone who never played professionally, and I'm able to create these opportunities for them. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I loved what you did with Samuel.
Yeah, for sure. Next one, let's do it.
All right. Next one is, what keeps you consistent with your own fitness and health routine?
I like that question. I know it's coming from too.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'll be very, very honest. I struggled with it for a while, right? Like I was playing basketball, I was being active, but it wasn't like, I wasn't in the weight room committed. I wasn't committed necessarily truly to anything. I was just kind of free flowing and trying to be active as best as I can. And then it comes in ebbs and flows where there's days where I feel really energetic and I want to work out, and there's days I really don't want to. And that's natural, right?
Sure.
The key is consistency. And I think the way I look at it now, it has to get done, because it's not only my physical health but my mental health. And I feel, the rush of dopamine and I feel happier when I work out and I exercise. I think it's just prioritizing. It's creating the time, finding the motivation. I mean, sometimes people need an outside factor to motivate them. Like when I run, I hate running. I don't like conditioning, but I got to do it. I play my Kobe Bryant videos, motivational, 20-minute, motivational video, and it gets me through it, right? I need that external motivation. Not everybody works that way when it comes to the Kobe Bryant videos. I get that for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need someone in person to help them. Sometimes it's not even getting on the treadmill, it's getting to the gym in the first place. If you don't, if you're not being active, if you're not, working out, taking care of yourself, it's going to fall under other aspects of your life. And something I always preach with my athletes and my clients I work with is, the way you do something is the way you do everything. If you can't commit to your sleep schedule and other aspects of your life, you won't be able to commit to it as well. If you can't commit to paying attention in class and getting good grades, that's going to follow you along your path in the future. At some point, it's going to catch up to you. They always say you can't cheat the game, right? You can't cheat basketball. It's going to catch up to you in other ways.
Yep.
So I think when it comes to committing to your fitness and your goals of being active every day and things like that, I look at it as it's an achievement. I give myself that credit every day, and I have that relationship with myself to be able to say, good job, I did it. I didn't just get through it and be like, oh, I don't want to do it tomorrow. I actually enjoy the process of doing it. I fell in love with it, and then it becomes just a part of my routine on an everyday basis, and I recognize that it's essential for my mental health, it's essential for my physical health, and it's something that just has to be done on a daily basis for me to live the highest quality of life.
It's perfectly said.
Yeah,
I can relate to a
appreciate it.
lot of that stuff, because it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
For sure.
No, like in life, but also like
For sure.
in like your health and routine.
Mm-hmm. I think something I do want to touch on with this, though, funny enough, it makes me think of an issue I always had, and I think a lot of youth will relate to this. We all fall victim to this where we go to play basketball and we tell ourselves, okay, I'm going to hit the weight room afterwards or beforehand and then go play basketball. We always go to the gym and we just play basketball for 5 hours, then we go home because we don't want to touch the weight room.
Yeah.
I just want to emphasize on this. Youth, teenagers, professional athletes, everybody needs to touch the weight room. You got to get in the weight room. You got to get strong. You got to get conditioned. I think basketball and competition brings a lot of adrenaline, and it could be almost like a cheat code to continue to move forward and push through the workout or push through the games you play. But just as important as that, if not more, than just playing the game, getting in the weight room, committing yourself to your physical health all around, improving your strength, improving your body. Flexibility is a massive one. Yeah. That's one I think that is the most consistent with any person I've worked with, weight room or basketball. They struggle with flexibility and that consistent, and the importance of the routine of that. You got to stretch because, muscles tighten up and something's going to rupture, rip, tear, I don't know. But something happens at some point, your body breaks down, you got to make sure you're stretching a lot.
Especially for those kind of sports that happen quick.
High impact, change of direction, change of pace, things like that, for sure. Absolutely.
It's true.
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me too. I could say it quick. It's quick stuff.
Yeah, I know. We got time.
Perfect. I tried out for my college team.
Okay.
And at the time, because basically what happened was, which you went to college there.
Algonquin College, yes sir.
Yeah. And if the coaches are seeing this, it's hilarious because I was one of them where, I don't know if they do this every year, but when you come into the tryout, nothing basketball related.
No, all running.
It's conditioning.
Yep.
And so you start doing suicides.
I want to take a quick second to thank today's sponsor, Nobody. However, if you're a brand, business, or service and you want to promote what you have going on my platform, you can send me a message on Instagram at willpower.podcast or send me an email, which can be found in the description down below. And please enjoy the rest of the show.
I think a huge part of that has to do with just, are you mentally strong enough to keep with the program and be committed to what we're doing here? Because we're trying to win games. We're not trying to just play and get through them. We're trying to have a winning season. And I think coaches, when they do it the right way, they do it that way. They start with the conditioning. And I think a lot of people disagree with it because they say, what's the point of being in shape if it's 3 months before the season starts? I can get into shape. Yeah. I disagree, personally. I think you should be in shape at all times throughout the year. Especially at the collegiate or university level. You got no excuses. Look how young you are. Like, come on. Like,
right.
You should be active. And it doesn't take too much, but especially if you consider yourself an athlete at the university level as a basketball player, you got to be in shape, especially when it comes to tryouts and things like that. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. So at the time, I was like,
yeah,
I was in shape. I was staying active, but not to that level. And so I didn't prepare for it. So at the time, I was frustrated. But now, like, I understand, like, it's a different level. Like, this isn't high school anymore. Like, this is a level up. So now looking at it, I was like, people who take it seriously like that, it wasn't just an experience. Like, it's a different experience. So I know, like, I should have been more in shape. I shouldn't have been so frustrated because I wanted to play. And I knew, like, at the time that I could play, but there's some things that I needed to do for myself, and it took me a little longer to realize
absolutely.
that.
And more times than not, it does. It takes, I mean, the male frontal lobe doesn't fully develop till they're 27 years old, so you don't actually have all this knowledge and perspective with emotional intelligence to know it when you're younger. Yeah. So that's why I try to equip these kids at a young age and young athletes I work with to know these things and be aware of it, and not to compare. I think a lot of the youth that I work with, they fall victim to comparing themselves to me. And I'm like, man, I got 10 years on you. There's no shot that it's fair for you to compare yourself to me in any capacity, let alone from a mental, emotional intelligence type of way, because I have so many life experiences and things I can refer to that you just can't yet. And I think when it comes to, understanding and being mature enough to get through that type of conditioning workout, it takes a lot of maturity and mental strength to not just quit on it and know that this is not for no reason. This is not us picking on you. This is to know, can you keep up with this program? Are you built to be here? And I think that's the main point that I think coaches try to emphasize when it comes to starting tryouts or early sessions on as trainers when it comes to just conditioning throughout entirely.
No, and I see it, and I love it, because that's where it starts.
For sure.
See where you're at mentally on the game. So
yeah,
no, I went through it, and I appreciate that they did it, because at the time I was frustrated, but that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, agreed.
I see it for sure.
For sure.
So I love it.
Next one.
What was the hardest part about starting a podcast?
Funny enough, I had the idea months ago and just didn't feel comfortable putting myself out there in that way. I think I did in other ways when it came to basketball, and that was easier for me because I'm almost like playing a character, being a coach. Whereas the podcast, I have to be me, have a full-blown conversation, record it. That to me was very uncomfortable initially. And then I kind of sat away from it for a little while and came back to the idea in June. And then I messaged you, and then within a week, we had a meeting and we set everything up. We committed to it. We said, okay, we'll get through season 1 and see how we feel. Mm-hmm. When it comes to setting everything up and looking at it as a whole, looking back on it, I think it's knowing what we're doing. And we had no freaking idea what the hell we were doing initially.
No.
We had the camera, luckily, the laptop, but where to, hold the platform to record interviews was difficult. Where to edit everything was difficult because we're not too tech savvy people necessarily when it comes to things like this. And it's just been a learning experience. I think the best advice I can give to someone that maybe is interested in starting a podcast is learn from your mistakes, just experience and figure it out. But the tools I could give you right now would be Riverside is what I use for virtual interviews and recording and editing. Riverside is the platform I use. This is not a sponsor. I just find it so easy to maneuver and edit with, and that's been a lot of fun doing. And just, if you're not comfortable on camera, you don't have to upload everything you record. If you don't like it, if you're not happy with it, then just trial and error, keep trying and figure out your style in different ways, because it was intimidating for me. Like, it's intimidating to have these lights and the camera pointing at me, knowing that this is on the internet forever. And I was nervous in my first few episodes. I mean, like, is this style even a podcast? Is it an interview? Like, what am I trying to do here? And I look at it as, okay, when I look back on the podcast and I listen to the conversation that I had, would I listen to this genuinely? Like, would I click on this and take from it? Every time, absolutely, because it's interesting guests and they have amazing stories, and I'm asking about life advice that so many people can draw value from. So I enjoy the content I put out, and that's, to me, been the easiest part, but maybe for some may look at it as the hardest part is they don't know where to start, what content they do like. Mm-hmm. So just look over on the internet, look on YouTube, find different podcasts, and think about what you're passionate about. What do you want to talk about? Who do you want to learn about? What do you want to be discussing? Things of that nature. So that's the advice I would give, in addition to what the hardest part was, is just kind of building the confidence to just say, you know what, let me just put myself out there and see what happens.
Yeah. And I'll touch on what you said with it. When you reached out, there's a lot of missing pieces. I know you had the drive and the vision for it, and there's a lot of stuff that we needed to learn kind of like from the beginning, because like me, I'm a photographer. The video and the editing it's different. It was a learning piece for both of us, but we never like quit. It was like frustrating at times because we needed to get this for this.
Scheduling guests,
what software, scheduling guests, maneuvering schedules, around schedules and like editing, and just keeping the motivation to keep doing it, and like how it's being presented, like you said, and like it was just everything we learned from every episode, but we kept doing it, and I feel like we've made some adjustments, and you've done really well.
Thank you.
I mean, we've
done very well. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
For sure.
We've done a good job, I feel like, at this point, working on it and just keeping at it. There's been a lot of times where it's been frustrating with little things. It seems like everything has happened to us with this process, but
like it would to anybody. I just think that the thing that we could say is just be adaptable, be flexible. If you're someone who has guests on their podcast, things can happen, miscommunications, things like that. Luckily, I've had an amazing lineup of guests, and everybody's been really great so far. I can't speak highly enough on how great it's been to have the people that we've had on, because I mean, I had, in my opinion, the greatest shooting coach in the world with Mike Dunn. I had the top coach of the top program in Canada in Kyle Julius. I had a Harvard graduate with Zena, a good friend of mine. Edward, one of the young men I've mentored, who's an unbelievable personality, a great story, and a really good person. And then Will Sotrill, a really solid YouTuber and guy who makes really cool content. He's passionate about his work. And Justin Wadlington, blind eye artist, he's been awesome. He was probably up there with one of my favorite guests I had on with his story. So I've been very lucky to have some unbelievable guests and guests that I admire and want to interview. So if you start your own podcast, my advice would be do the same. Pick people you actually want to hear from and you enjoy talking to, and you're genuinely curious about their story and their process with everything. So yeah, that's been the hardest part, some advice and some good things about this journey so far.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah. What's the next one?
All right, next question. How can I best prepare myself for the next level?
Basketball?
It doesn't say specifically, but
So
I'm assuming.
I'm gonna assume it's basketball.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, obviously. How do I prepare myself for the next level of basketball? That's a great question. We spoke on it a little bit earlier. It's just continuing to build on the confidence, the routine, surrounding yourself with the right mentors, training smart, right? Sometimes it's not necessarily volume. It's what you do when you're in the gym, right? You could have access to the gym, but what are you doing when you're actually in there? High level coaching, high level quality content you can find online easily. I think one I spoke on the podcast was the 250 test with Cal Julius. That's an unbelievable video where he gives you the real ins and outs of what it takes to play next level. I'll link that in the description below. I think having the right people around you, supporting you, encouraging you. If you're, for example, if you're someone who has friends that are smoking a lot of weed or not necessarily respecting your goals and your ambitions, and they're trying to pull you into doing different things that aren't necessarily positive towards your goals, you have to have the emotional maturity and the know-how of how to remove yourself from those people and those different vulnerabilities that you have in your life that aren't good for your goals and good for your future. So to get ready for the next level, it's sacrifice, it's research, and it's emotional intelligence, removing people from your life that don't push you and encourage you on a daily basis to help uplift you to get you towards your goals. So that would be some advice I would give.
That's good.
Appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to add? What would you say? Someone next level.
I think what I took from what you said is it's not always going to be easy to prepare for that. And you want to have fun throughout it, whether it's friends, family, but it's just.
But when you say next level, man, we're talking U sports, we're talking university or professionally. That's
if you
have
have
fun.
that goal, like you said, you need to sacrifice.
Correct.
And I think put your head down and learn as much as you can and implement that. So.
Yeah, and playing next level, your fun should be in the gym. That's where your fun should be. It should not be at the club or casinos, distractions, whatever it is, parties. Your fun should be basketball. Basketball should be your home. You should love it and work towards it every day because you want to, not because you feel like you have to. And if that's the case, that you feel like you have to, then maybe next level basketball is not for you because basketball is a worldwide global game. There's millions of people that would kill to be in the position that maybe you're pursuing as well, that are working that much harder with that much resources than you have. So for you, if you're lucky enough to have the resources, to have the physical ability, and you're developing the mental and figuring out what it takes to play next level, that perspective of knowing that there's other people chasing after the same goal as you, that could give you a lot of push and confidence to work towards where you want to get to.
So next question. What do you do when you're not having a good mental health day?
Oh, wow. I have a rule I give myself. I don't know if it's healthy, but this is what works for me. If I'm having a really, really bad day and my routine is off, my energy's not there, I have a 48-hour rule. So for 48 hours, 2 days, I'm allowed to do what I have to do, to sulk in it, cry if I have to, go see my therapist, talk to my friends, get out of my routine and do whatever I feel like is healthiest during that time. My thing is ice cream. I love ice cream. And I try to commit to doing once a week. I get my sweet treat or my cheat meal. But for that 48-hour period, if you want to try the same thing, you're more than welcome to. But this is what works for me, is I give myself 48 hours to just feel my emotions, get through it. And then if I have to perform, if I have a job where I have to go to work and talk to people and things like that, I just suck it up and keep it pushing. But keeping those healthy habits are key. That comes from exercise, that's hanging out with friends that are good for you and are healthy, mentors that are encouraging you and pushing you and have your best interest in mind. And therapy is a big one. If you're really going through it where there's a situation you're having a hard time with, I think communication is extremely key. So whether that be a close and trusted friend, a family member, a therapist, I think those are factors that I look at that have helped me a lot through my journey with mental health. And understand that motivation, it's not always there, right? There's days where I don't feel like getting out of bed. I don't feel like training people. I don't feel like going to work. I don't feel like doing this podcast. There's days where that's okay. And do what you have to do that day or that 48-hour period to get through it. And if you don't have that luxury to give yourself that amount of time, then try and find something during that day to be selfish and do something for yourself to overcome that situation, right? So that could be talking to a therapist, going for a walk, going to the gym. These are all things you do for yourself. Or sitting at home watching Netflix for 48 hours. Do what you got to do, right? But that's my process, at least, and the advice I would give. Biggest thing is therapy and communication, though. If you can't talk to a therapist, then there's resources out there. You can find free resources to talk to people, your friends. You can call them, significant others, like whatever it may be. But it's just healthy habits and being mindful to your emotions and how you're feeling. If you feel like you need a day off, then take that day off, right?
Definitely.
So that's my process.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Appreciate it.
I mean, I do similar stuff too. I try to move. I try to chat with people, although I have a tough time with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like everything you said was great, and
Yeah,
I feel like
it.
those are all things that help a lot. We'll fire into the next question.
Let's do it.
All right. Next question. What did you learn about yourself through this process with the podcast?
I would say I'm multifaceted. I think that for me, I always looked at myself as a coach and only a coach for a lot of times. And there was times I was dealing with that, like an identity crisis, where with Willpower basketball, that was something that I used to cope and used to, pay homage and pay respect and continue my father's memory within my life in a positive way and in a way that it can impact others and youth, especially in young athletes, boys and girls, whoever. And I think in me sharing my story, being vulnerable, helped a lot of people. The podcast is just an extension of that and a continuation, but in a way that it's actually me and not this Willpower basketball character I felt like I was playing sometimes. Mm-hmm. And, selfishly, I'm interviewing these guests because I genuinely want to learn from them and hear about their journeys and stories. And I think that that's been the coolest part for me, is for the first time I'm being selfish in a way that I'm still providing for others and giving them so much when it comes to the next generation and people listening, but it comes down as I'm doing this for me, and that to me has been a lot of fun for the first time in my life to look at myself as being selfish in a weird way. So I've enjoyed it a lot, and I think it's given me a lot of confidence. It's provided me a new skill to be able to be in front of the camera and talk for 40 minutes and feel comfortable.
Yeah. So
I think that's been pretty cool as well, to learn that about myself and develop that skill. I think that's been really cool.
I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, man.
It's since first episode and even in between episodes, just talking about like, how do I do? It's like,
yeah,
and it's a different aspect of how you're presenting yourself. So
for sure. No, absolutely.
Different platform, and I think you have a lot of good things to say. So I'm glad that
man.
you were able to share a lot of these things and talk to interesting people throughout all of them. So I've enjoyed it. All right, next and last question.
Okay, let's hear it.
What do you hope to do in season 2?
That's a great question. What do I hope to do in season 2? I hope to continue to interview the guests that pique my interest, that I want to learn from them. Funny enough, this is a special announcement. There will be a season 2. So I'm excited about that for sure. I think it's been really cool so far, and I want to continue on it because I'm having a ton of fun with it. I've got a couple of guests I've got lined up already that have shown some interest that I'm super excited to hear from. So people that work in sports medicine is one specifically that I'm very, very excited for because I have so much I want to ask them. So what to expect? I mean, more of me interviewing people and getting to know their journeys and their stories, more knowledge being passed on and paid forward to you guys, the listeners, and just keep elevating myself through this journey and having a lot of fun with it. So that's what to expect for season 2.
Hell yeah, tune in.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to it.
I love it. So that concludes the questions. I gotta ask you one now. So for you, from looking at the first question to looking at first episode to episode 7, how have you grown as an editor and as a person, being able to listen to all these things and learn all these tools from these different guests? How has that been for you?
Interesting. It's been quite a process in terms of it kind of being overwhelming from the first episode, because it was a little bit out of my comfort zone. Yeah. Because I've been so used to photography and editing, and that way I kind of built myself into like a routine and the way I do it. Yeah. And I got pretty good at it. And this kind of took me out of my comfort zone, but it also gave me a little bit more tools to adapt, learn something new, work on a new project that I thought was very interesting. So I wanted to get better so that we would provide a good product, and just to expand my skills around video and quality in terms of presentation. So this was different. It's a longer video. I've done short videos in the past and editing, but it's been new, and I feel like I gave myself some tools. I've become more comfortable in getting past that stage of learning something fresh that you're not used to. I've got past that, and I feel like, okay, it's easier to kind of learn little things, as frustrating as they are. But I feel like it gave me some more tools, and I just wanted to help, like share your vision and hearing what you wanted and being able to help work together and make it what it is. I feel like obviously we can make it better, and we'll work on little things that I feel like need to be implemented, but I feel like it helped me grow, and listening to the conversations has been great. Been some great guests. I've been very interested in just listening to these different people and these longer conversations and going through everything. So
for sure, and I appreciate that, and I think it's been the coolest part seeing you is the work ethic, how much you've developed since we started this. When it comes to like, this is a timeline where it's once a week we're uploading these. It's a lot of work.
It can be.
In photography, you usually have a deadline of like 2 weeks. You got to edit it, but now it's like we're sitting next to each other, editing these, going to the locations to record these, and all that stuff. So for you and me both, it's been a major work ethic test on how much we really had to commit to doing this, to say, okay, we're going to do a season 1, move forward and do a season 2. It's a lot of work, but I mean, if you're enjoying it, then it's worth it. It doesn't feel like work at the end of the day.
That's it.
Yeah, man. So with that, season finale, I finished my water, but we'll cheers regardless. So congratulations on season 1 to us.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This concludes episode 7 of the Willpower podcast. I just want to remind you guys to please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. Feel free to hit me up on Instagram at willpower.podcast. And I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. And I will see you guys on season 2 of the Willpower podcast.